I'm going to show you exactly how to apply for and win one of the most prestigious scholarships in the entire world, the Gates Cambridge Scholarship. This scholarship funds the costs of a full postgraduate degree at the University of Cambridge, and that means flights, accommodation, tuition, living expenses, research costs, and on top of that, you get access to one of the most incredible alumni networks on the planet, the Gates Cambridge Alumni Network. So if you've ever dreamed of studying at Cambridge on a completely free, all expenses paid scholarship, stick around because I'm going to be breaking down the entire step-by-step application process from eligibility to application to interview, and I'm also going to be sharing the key strategies to maximize your chances of winning. As a bit of context, my name is Jack Anderson and I'm currently completing my master's at Tsinghua University in Beijing as a Schwarzman Scholar, which is one of the most competitive graduate fellowships in the world, and I also recently completed my master's at Harvard on their most prestigious full-ride scholarship called the Frank Knox Memorial Fellowship. And through my company, Ivy League Consults, I've helped countless students get into their dream schools like Harvard, Stanford, etc. And I've also helped people to win the most competitive graduate fellowships in the world, from Rhodes to Fulbright and more. So if you want professional, one-on-one support from myself and my fellow Harvard grad, Alessandro Hammond, who is also a Schwarzman Scholar and Yale MD PhD candidate, then book a free discovery call at the top of the description to see if you qualify. Now let's kickstart this video by explaining exactly what the Gates Cambridge Scholarship actually is. The Gates Cambridge Scholarship was established in the early 2000s with a $210 million donation from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And at the time, that was the biggest donation, the biggest single donation to a UK university. So each year, they award around 80 scholarships to international students and US citizens as well. The only people that aren't eligible for this scholarship are UK citizens, but it's okay because you guys have a ton of other scholarships anyway. And the scholarship funds any full-time postgraduate degree at Cambridge, whether it's a PhD, a master's, or just a one-year program. But there are a few courses that aren't quite included, which include MBAs, a full medical degree, or just like certain business or finance programs, but you can check those out on their website. But in essence, the majority of these programs are eligible and you can likely study at Cambridge on this full ride scholarship. I'll also quickly touch on the selection criteria for this scholarship, which is relatively generic in my opinion. In essence, it's just intellectual ability, leadership potential, a commitment to improving the lives of others, and then being a good academic fit for Cambridge. Like pretty stock standard overall. Now let's talk about the application timeline because this can be a little bit confusing depending on where you're from. For US citizens, your applications are due much earlier than international students. So your applications are due on October 15th. So make sure that you're on top of this early in the year. And for international students, you have two main deadlines for when you should apply, and it depends on when your Cambridge program application is due. So you'll either have to submit by December 2nd or January 7th, depending on the Cambridge course that you're applying to. But regardless, the good news is you have much more time to prepare than the US applicants, so that's a good win for the internationals. Now, enough logistics, let's talk about the application itself, which you are going to submit through the Cambridge Graduate Application Portal. I want to emphasize the Gates Cambridge application is integrated into the Cambridge Grad Application Portal. There is not a separate scholarship portal, which is the case for most scholarships. But there are a bunch of supplemental questions that you have to do if you're applying for the Gates Cambridge. So if you're applying for the Gates Cambridge, on top of submitting your Cambridge graduate school application, there are 4 key supplemental essays that you need to submit. I'm going to break down each of the questions and how I believe you should structure them to be the most effective. The first question is as follows. Please describe how, through your education and past experiences, you have displayed academic excellence. You have 200 words for this question, and my advice is to not be afraid of being arrogant. And if you're an international student, I know you like to be humble, but this is not the place to do that. So make the first 125 words read like a professional academic bio, showcasing all of your major education and academic achievements, particularly those that are focused on research because Cambridge does love researchers. Then you will still have 75 words left, and I want you to dedicate this to how you've academically been working to solve a problem that you hope to continue to solve at Cambridge. So it should be the thing that you want to study and showcasing your academic interest in a very specific problem. Like for me, it might be something like education inequality in Australia, For you, it might be climate research in your home country. Talk about how you've already been doing that and how you're super excited to continue that at Cambridge. Question number 2 states to please explain why you want to study your specific course at the University of Cambridge and how it will facilitate your future plans. And again, you have 200 words. This is one that a lot of people stuff up, but I want to give you a threefold structure that I think is the best. The first thing you want to do is have an opening paragraph of 40 to 50 words that states very clearly the systemic problem that you want to address. These should be embedded with clear statistics, and you should showcase a problem that you want to solve. Then the next paragraph should be around 50 to 60 words about your vision for solving it. In other words, you framed a problem, you framed your future plans, and you've answered half the question. Now, for the remaining 100 words, I want you to focus on how this Cambridge course is going to help you to achieve this vision. So you articulate a problem, you establish a vision, and then you explain exactly how this Cambridge course is going to help you to get there. Do not deviate from this. You only have 200 words, and I think this is a really compelling structure. And one thing that I really emphasize to all of my students that I work with is, like, if you really want to stand out, you have to have the best problem and the best vision for addressing it. Like, everyone can research a Cambridge course and what they're going to get out of it, but not everyone can find an incredible problem worth solving, like something that really needs to be addressed and can be demonstrated through statistics, and not everyone can articulate an exceptional vision that is clear, justified, and well thought out. So that is going to be a way in which you distinguish yourself beyond just being more professionally accomplished than your competitors. Question number 3 is to please provide an example or examples of how you have demonstrated a commitment to improving the lives of others. Please explain why this is important to you and how it is relevant to your future plan. Ideally for this, you should focus in on one experience that has gone across multiple years. Like for me, it would have been building my education non-for-profit back in Australia. But regardless here, I want you to apply the past, present, and future framework. In this framework, you're going to talk about a key experience from your past that demonstrates your commitment to improving the lives of others, how that's shaped the impact that you're having today, and then looking towards the future, how you hope to continue that into the future. There are many ways to answer that question, so I don't want to give too much guidance. I think reflecting on values, there are a lot of different ways you can answer that question. So having a formalized structure and a one-size-fits-all model probably isn't the best for that approach. I believe you should just trust your judgment. And for question number 4, it states, please provide an example or examples of how you have demonstrated a capacity for leadership. This could be initiating a change or bringing others together to achieve a goal. How will this help you make an impact in the future? In essence, how are you a great leader, and showcase some examples for that. Again, I don't want to give too much structure for this, but the main things you should be focused on is leadership experiences that align with your future vision. Sometimes, like, you can take a sporting experience and kind of like thread the needle to explain how it's going to shape your leadership potential in the future. But in general, the strongest experiences are the ones that align with the major you want to study or the degree you want to study at Cambridge and aligns with the vision that you have in the future. You want a really clear through line when you're drafting these application answers. The other key point for this question is they really want to see that your vision is justified. So by using leadership experiences that align with your future vision, you're showcasing that you've clearly thought out what you want to do with your life, it's valid, it's something you're already working on, rather than your vision just being empty words. Next up is the references. You're going to need 3 references, 2 academic references for your Cambridge application, and then 1 dedicated Gates Cambridge specific reference, who is going to speak to how you embody the ideals of a Gates Cambridge scholar. So this referee is super important. Make sure it's the best one that you've got. In my opinion, for a great letter, you should get your referee to structure it as follows. The first paragraph should just be an opening introducing the qualifications of your recommender and just giving overarching statements about your eligibility for the scholarship and how you were truly exceptional. Then the next few paragraphs should be dedicated to your anecdotal relationship with this referee and all of the instances where you've showcased exceptional leadership, academic aptitude, those types of things. And then the remaining second page of your recommendation letter should be fully dedicated to how you embody the selection criteria for a Gates Cambridge scholar. So how do you demonstrate outstanding intellectual ability, leadership potential, a commitment to improving the lives of others, and being a good academic fit for Cambridge? Get your referee to put tangible examples for each of these selection criteria and how you excel in every single criteria. Finally, there's the interview process. If you make it past the application stage, you will be invited to a virtual or in-person interview depending on where you live. It'll occur in late January or early February, and this is where the majority of the actual selection happens. The interview is going to last for 20 to 25 minutes, and to be honest, relative to a lot of the other most competitive scholarships out there, this interview is relatively straightforward. It's structured into 4 key components. The first is just the welcome and introduction, where you don't have to do anything, you just get to listen and hear about each of the panel members. But then they're going to dive into why the Gates Cambridge Scholarship and also your academic and career plans. So you need to be aware of things like what is your motivations for applying for the scholarship, what makes you an exceptional scholar, how will you handle the expectations of being a Gates Cambridge scholar, and then on top of that diving into your vision, your academic plans, why you want to study this Cambridge degree. Like, they're very stock standard things. And then at the end of your interview, you'll have a couple of minutes to ask any questions you have. Just make sure they're super unique and well thought out. Like, that is super critical. But overall, it's a pretty stock standard interview. So to close out this video, I'm going to leave you with 3 key tips for winning the Gates Cambridge Scholarship. Tip number 1 is to anchor everything to impact. Gates Cambridge is not about funding the smartest students or the people with the top GPAs. It is about funding people who are going to change the lives of people in their community at a national level or even at a global level. So every story, every part of your resume, every essay needs to reflect impact and your desire to give more impact in the future. The second thing is to make sure that you're proving you're a strong academic fit. Unlike the US, where they're not too fussed about grades, Cambridge and Oxford in particular are just super focused on academics. Like, I've never understood it, but it's just how they are. They love the academic beasts. So make sure, whether it's through your research placements, your grades, academic achievements, awards, etc., make sure you're showcasing that you are an exceptional academic fit, because they really care about that there. And point number 3 is to be authentic. The Gates panel is filled with super accomplished people, and they're going to know from the start if you're being inauthentic. So don't try and exaggerate, don't lie, don't put on a facade, just be yourself, and it's super important to do that. And that's a breakdown of how to win the Gates Cambridge Scholarship. As always, if you want professional one-on-one support from my team, check out the link at the top of the description, book a discovery call, and see if you qualify, and good luck.